As you're watching this, your phone is probably within reach. Maybe in a few minutes you'll send a message, edit a photo, or say hi to a chatbot. And while all of that is happening, somewhere else in the world, in a small village you've never heard of, where the power cuts out a few times a day and the roads are made of dust, someone is working for your AI. This video is about that village. But this village doesn't really have a name, because it's not just one place. It's hundreds of places scattered around the globe that all look strangely similar. I'm going to call it the village that trains your AI. It's 6 a.m. The sun is hitting tin roofs with that orange light that somehow makes even poverty shine. A young man in his 20s gets out of bed. Let's call him Samuel. Nothing in Samuel's room looks high-tech. A worn-out mattress, 2 t-shirts, a pair of shoes. But Samuel has the most techie job in town. He looks in the mirror. He's tired, sleep-deprived. Last night, he had nightmares again. The kind of nightmares he doesn't talk about with anyone. He walks to work, down a muddy path, past noisy motorbikes, toward a low concrete building that rises in the middle of the village like a factory chimney. On the building, there's a big blue logo, not of a famous global tech company, of the local contractor that works for them. He steps inside, rows of screens, the constant hum of an overworked air conditioner. On every desk, the same setup: headphones, a cheap computer, a little sign that says "Keep quiet." The job looks simple. A video pops up on screen. A fight. Punches, screaming, blood. A question appears in front of Samuel. Does this content contain violence? Yes. Next video. A comment full of slurs. Is this hate speech? Yes. Next. A black and white cartoon. A symbol he doesn't fully recognize. Is this racist or not? He thinks for a second. He's deciding something about a country he has never visited. In a few seconds, he's answering a question that sounds like this. If an AI sees this, what should it learn? For every click, he makes a few cents. But every click leaves an invisible mark on the brain of the systems you call smart. We like to say we're training artificial intelligence. But what's really happening is this. Samuel and people like him are copying pieces of their own minds into our machines. During lunch break, he goes outside with his co-workers. They sit on plastic chairs and drink soda. One of them jokes, "We're teaching robots how to be human." They all laugh. But there's something inside that laugh that hurts, because every day, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Samuel stares at the worst things humans have created: violence, hate, pornography, death, bombings, wars, child abuse. He sees it all, dozens of times per minute. And then, in the evening, you come home, you open an app and type, "Tell me a joke." The bot answers with something silly, and you laugh. That joke looks innocent, but the system that delivered it to you was shaped by thousands of dark images, labels, and clicks that passed through people like Samuel's mind. At this point, we have to ask, how artificial is this intelligence, really? Some experts call it reinforcement learning from human feedback. Cited Insta sounds impressive, doesn't it? But in simple terms, we show the AI 2 answers, and we ask a human, which one is better? They make that choice for hours, days, years. Most of the people making those choices don't live in Silicon Valley. They live in villages like this. On the lowest rungs of the global economy, children in the village look up to Samuel. He works with computers, they say. To them, that feels like a job from the future. But the elders of the village notice something else. In the evenings, Samuel doesn't talk as much anymore. His eyes drift off. His appetite is gone. Some nights, he just sits and stares at the wall. At the small clinic near the village, no one uses the word depression, but its shape, its symptoms, are getting clearer every day. Samuel slowly realizes something. He isn't just labeling content. He's also labeling his own limits. How much can I handle? At which video do I look away? At which comment does my stomach turn? The AI is constantly asking, is this harmful? But Samuel is quietly asking himself, am I still okay? And here's the irony. We're making these systems safe for us. We want them to protect our mental health, to hide the worst of the internet from our eyes. But the price for that safety is being paid by people whose voices we never hear. Investigations and reports have shown how some of these workers are underpaid, traumatized, working without real protections or unions. Some companies have promised improvements. Hourly wages went up a little, but the fundamental equation didn't change. We asked for cleaner, friendlier apps. They watched darker, uglier content. In the village, a rumor starts spreading. If this company leaves, there will be no jobs. Samuel's life is now trapped between two walls. On one side, survival. On the other, his sanity. On some days, he thinks about quitting, but then he remembers his mother's face, his brother's school fees, the debts on their house, and he sets the alarm for the next morning. At this point, our story stops being just about a village. It becomes a question. In the age of AI, whose pain are we turning into convenience? There's a saying, every bright light casts a shadow. AI is being sold to us as light, a force that makes everything faster, easier, more magical. But what's hiding in its shadow? In this village, thousands of people like Samuel are teaching our machines what morality looks like, what should be shown, what should be hidden, what counts as hate, what counts as a joke. And often they're making these decisions about cultures they don't belong to. Staring at a screen, deciding in a few seconds, is this humor or is this hate? You might struggle with that question yourself, but the system demands a clear answer from him. Meanwhile, in the cities, the lights turn on. Billboards scream, powered by AI. A tech company announces a new chatbot. It's now more polite, more safe, more human. We hear that and feel reassured. Good, we think. It won't hurt anyone, but who paid the price for that extra politeness? That evening, Samuel walks home and looks up at the sky. The setting sun covers the village in a soft orange silence. A minibus passes by with a faded slogan on its side. The future is digital. He smiles. Maybe they're right, he thinks. The future is digital, but the hinges of the door to that future still rest on the shoulders of people like him. And here's the strangest part. The voice you're hearing in this video, these sentences explaining his life to you, are probably being generated by a model trained on oceans of data that people like Samuel have touched, filtered, or labeled. So this isn't just a story about them, it's a story about us. Your comfort, my intelligence, their labor. We love to call AI the brain of the future. But we forget that this brain is wired together from millions of tiny, hidden decisions made by people in faraway places, for very little money, under enormous stress. So, let me ask you something simple. One day, when you slide a little settings bar to make your AI more ethical, will you think of this village? Maybe AI ethics isn't just about how algorithms behave. Maybe it's also about how the people who train them are allowed to live. Maybe the real question is not, how artificial is this intelligence, but how much humanity did we burn to create it? And maybe, one day, when you open a chat window and type hello, You'll pause for half a second before hitting send, and remember, this answer didn't appear from nowhere. Somewhere, in some village, at the other end of the cable, someone helped build the path that led here. On that day, the village that trains your AI will no longer be invisible, and maybe, just maybe, that's exactly where change begins.